Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate the graduation of the Parent Institute for Engagement PI Cohort 8. Today is a celebration of growth, leadership, resilience, and the power of family voice. Over the past year, these families have challenged themselves to learn, build new relationships, strengthen their advocacy skills, and step into leadership in ways they may have never imagined when they first joined PI. PI is more than just a program. It is a community where lived experiences become expertise, where families support one another, and where parents and caregivers discover that their voice can influence meaningful change. Today, we celebrate not only what our graduates have accomplished, but the lasting impact they will continue to have on children, families, and the future of early intervention throughout Washington. Thank you for being here to celebrate this incredible milestone with us. For those I haven't met, my name is Vanessa Allen, and I serve as the Family Engagement Coordinator with Washington's Early Support for Infants and Toddlers ESIT program. In the photo shown, I am wearing a black blazer over a black top with a silver necklace. I have shoulder-length, wavy brown hair and warm caramel-colored skin, and I'm standing against a soft gray background. One of my greatest privileges is coordinating the Parent Institute for Engagement and walking alongside these amazing families as they grow into confident leaders and advocates. The Parent Institute for Engagement PI is a year-long leadership development program for families whose children have received early intervention services through ESIT. Throughout the program, participants strengthen their advocacy skills, deepen their understanding of early intervention systems, build relationships with statewide leaders, and discover how their lived experience can influence policy and systems change. While PI is designed primarily for parents and caregivers, 2 spots are reserved each year for a provider or professional caregiver to encourage meaningful collaboration between families and professionals. At the heart of PI is a commitment to ensuring family voices remain central in shaping Washington's early intervention system. One of the greatest strengths of PI is the diversity of families who participate. This cohort represents communities from across Washington state and all 6 ESIT regions. Every family brings unique experiences, perspectives, and expertise that enrich our discussions and strengthen our work together. Although they all come from different backgrounds and different parts of the state, they share one common goal: to improve outcomes for children and families by ensuring family voice helps shape the future of early intervention. Over the past year, Cohort 8 has grown into a community of confident leaders and advocates through meaningful learning and hands-on experiences. Participants completed 6 fierce advocacy sessions where they learned to share their lived experience, build relationships with decision makers, and advocate for meaningful change. They also completed 6 racial equity sessions, exploring how equity, inclusion, and systematic barriers impact children and families. Learning extended beyond the classroom. Participants attended and engaged with state ICC subcommittees, contributed to the state ICC Contingency Planning Workgroup, explored Washington State Systematic Improvement Plan, (SIP), and partnered with the ESIT leadership to better understand the Annual Performance Report, APR. Most importantly, they built lasting relationships, gained confidence in their voices, and discovered that their lived experiences are the ones of the most valuable tool for creating change. Today, we are celebrating not only what they learned, but the leaders that they have become. Throughout our 6 fierce advocacy sessions with Jeremy, each PI member developed an advocacy story based on their own lived experience. Today, I'd like to share one of those stories with you. This is Christina's story.
Hello, I wanted to talk to you about my 5-year-old. They are curious, bright, and determined. They love to learn, they try every single day, and they are on the autism spectrum with developmental disabilities. Like every child, they deserve the chance to grow, to communicate, to feel safe, and to be understood. But loving your child is not the hardest part. Navigating the system is. Getting help should not feel like a full-time job, but for families like mine, it is. Referrals take months, sometimes they expire before appointments are available, and we are told to act early, yet early intervention is delayed by wait lists, paperwork, and provider shortages. Services that are essential, such as therapy, evaluations, behavioral support, often come with costs that us families simply cannot afford. Insurance doesn't cover enough, or anything at all sometimes. If you can't pay out of pocket, you have to wait, And if you wait, your child loses time that can never be replaced. Transportation is also another barrier. Appointments are far away during work hours, multiple times a week. Not every family has a car, flexible jobs, or childcare for siblings. Miss one appointment and you risk losing your services entirely. Then there is education. Families walk into schools hopeful, only to fight to be believed, to prove their child needs support, to explain again and again and again. Autism does not look one way, and that inclusion without resources is not inclusion at all. This is exhausting, and families are tired, not because they don't love their children, but because the system asks them to carry everything alone. Here's the truth. This is not just about my child. This is about every family who doesn't have money, time, language access, transportation, or power to advocate endlessly. Disabilities do not discriminate, but access to support does. We need more providers, faster referrals, affordable services, and transportation support. We need schools that are properly funded and trained. We need systems that work with families, not against them. And we need to listen to parents and caregivers as experts on their own children. When we support children with disabilities, we support entire families. And when families are supported, communities are stronger. My 5-year-old is not a problem to be fixed. They are a person to be supported. Please help build a system where no family has to fight this hard just to give their child a fair start. Because every child deserves that, and every family does too. Thank you so much.
Throughout this year, each participant's journey has been unique. Some joined PI to better understand the early intervention system. Others wanted to become stronger advocates for their children. Many simply wanted to connect with families who understood their experiences. What they found was so much more. Now I'd like to introduce some of Cohort 8 as they share what this journey has meant to them.
Hi, my name is Michelle Hirche. In the photo, I am with my family in the sea. I am a white lady wearing a red shirt on with brown curly hair. I'm surrounded by my husband and our 3 children. I'm advocating in DC in the photo for a program called 0 to 3, and the photo was taken this year, June 9th. I'm a mom to 3 lovely boys, 4, 5, and 8. I like to think of myself as being a fierce, passionate advocate who enjoys family time, traveling, and a good workout. I have enjoyed learning through PI. It's been enriching, informative, and empowering. I have a better understanding of the power of storytelling and have grown in dealing with racism and discrimination. I'm in a position in my journey where I feel ready to give some of my knowledge and resources back to the community. I have led several workshops and conferences to educate others, peers, and parents on the importance to show up as advocates and resources and develop as leaders. I've joined Policy and Finance Committee during my time at PI, while also staying involved in other leadership cohorts and other advisory boards. My voice matters. Your voice matters. Together, our voices are stronger, more powerful, and our voice will reach. Thank you, PI.
Hello, everyone. My name is Latasha Gilbert, and I'm a mother of 4 children. And my advocacy journey began long before I ever thought of myself as an advocate. My youngest son began receiving ESIT speech services around age 1 and continues to receive support as he prepares to enter kindergarten this fall. My older son also received developmental services from age 7 through 18. Navigating those systems as a parent taught me how important early intervention services are and how families benefit when they have access to support, information, and someone to help guide them along the way. The last several months have been incredibly busy as I finished my bachelor's degree, raised my children, and prepared to begin graduate school this fall, which limited my participation at times. But Pi reminded me that advocacy is not only about attending every meeting, it is also about using our stories and experiences to create change. One of the biggest lessons I took away from the program was the importance of storytelling in advocacy. Facts and data matter, but stories help decision makers understand the real impact policies have on children and families. Pi also helped me recognize something about myself. I've always had a natural inclination towards connecting people with resources and advocating for others. The program gave me more confidence to use my voice intentionally and reminded me that lived experience is expertise too. As I move forward, I hope to continue advocating for children and families through policy work and community leadership. To PI participants, your story matters, your perspective matters, and your voice deserves a seat at the table. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Goldman, and I represent Region 6 of Washington State from Vancouver. In my photo, I have short brown hair and blue glasses, and I'm wearing an orange t-shirt. And in the photo, I'm taking a selfie with a tall bookshelf behind me. I am a stay-at-home parent to two little kids. My daughter Penelope is 5 and just graduated from special education preschool. She was diagnosed with autism just before she turned 4 and is currently thriving. She will be attending a general education kindergarten with minimal supports next year. Before joining Pi, I was active in my local school district community, speaking at school board meetings and connecting with other special education parents, but I rarely spoke about my own kid in those contexts. She's currently getting adequate support at school, and there are so many other students who have greater needs or a much larger gap between the services that they need and the services they're actually getting. The advocacy workshops really taught me that having a compelling advocacy story isn't about necessarily the level of need. It's about getting the decision makers to care about your specific kid and her specific needs. In May, I was able to use those skills to help another parent craft a compelling advocacy story, and her story about the months that she spent trying to get services for her child and the personal privilege she had to leverage to actually get those services have led to district level discussions about improving the IEP process. One of my goals coming into the program was balancing my own advocacy for myself, for my kids, for other members of my community, with making space for other advocates, disabled self advocates, people who are newer to public speaking, folks whose advocacy stories represent life experiences that are different from mine, that maybe stakeholders haven't heard before. I've definitely got a few folks in mind to recommend for the next cohort, and I am so grateful to Pi for helping me build relationships with other parents beyond my local community. With growing threats to special education and disability services at the federal level, it's so important to protect these services at the state level. Thanks to my participation in Pi, a member of our local CICC reached out and invited me to attend their meetings. So I'm looking forward to checking them out. And I'm still thinking about where I can be most useful going forward.
Hello, my name is Yasmin Guzman. I am from Bothell, Washington, and I had the opportunity to participate in Pi Cohort 8. In my photo to the left, I am wearing a white long sleeve dress with my black hair pinned back, smiling while holding my daughter Emma to the right in a sparkly beige dress. Her hair is styled and held back in a ponytail with a bow and is softly gazing. This picture was taken in front of a Virgin Mary altar surrounded by flowers and plants inside our church for Emma's 3rd birthday blessing. I came into Pi unsure about what lay ahead, as this has been my first leadership and advocacy program. I had the opportunity to help early intervention specialists, professionals, leaders, and policymakers by sharing my experience with early intervention programs to support policy and decision making on these specific services to continue helping and supporting children and families across Washington state. One of my biggest takeaways from this cohort will be participating in Jeremy's storytelling courses. His classes were uniquely designed in a way that allowed cohort members to be vulnerable and feel safe with each of our stories and experiences. From this, I feel confident and prepared to continue my advocacy journey with my daughter as we embark into the public school system. I will continue to voice not only her needs, but the needs of many children with IEPs and special education plans who have the right to be in a learning environment where they are respected, included, and supported in order to reach their full potential. I am so grateful to have been part of Cohort 8. This group has become a trusted community, and I deeply appreciate the incredible families who have been generous with their support, knowledge, and encouragement in both personal and professional ways. I am equally thankful for the meaningful trainings and workshops which have enriched my growth and learning throughout this experience. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Leishon and I'm joining you from South King County, Washington. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story today. My photo was taken outdoors at 5 Mile Lake in Auburn, Washington on Juneteenth. I'm wearing a black sleeveless top and black sunglasses. I have long curly brown hair and a small nose ring. The photo includes my husband and all 6 of our children. My husband is wearing a matching black tank top and short set with black sunglasses. My adult son, Jawan, is wearing a gray shirt and sunglasses. My 11-year-old son is wearing a colorful World Cup hat and sunglasses with his long hair pulled back in a braid. My 7-year-old son is wearing a coral shirt with matching sunglasses and has his hair pulled back in a ponytail. My daughter has long curly hair and is wearing a green and pink Nike shirt. My youngest twins are shirtless after a day playing outside wearing amber necklaces with their curly hair pulled back into messy buns. Everyone in the photo is smiling. In the background, you can see the lake, lily pads, and trees on a beautiful summer day. Family has shaped every part of who I am and the work that I do today. I'm a mom of 6 amazing children, and each one of them has played a role in shaping the advocate, leader, and person I've become. I'm a twin mom times 2, a NICU mom, a food allergy mom, and a mom to a son with developmental disabilities who came into my life when he was 8 years old. All 5 of my younger children have received ESIT services, and our family's journey through early intervention has changed the trajectory of our lives in more ways than I can count. I'm also a full spectrum doula and lactation specialist who's had the privilege of supporting families during some of life's most vulnerable and beautiful moments. My children have taught me more than I could have ever imagined, and they are the reason that I do this work. My advocacy journey began long before I ever called myself an advocate. Like many parents, I started simply by loving my child and wanting something better for them. I was sitting in IEP meetings and school conferences trying to figure out how to get the support that my son needed to grow and thrive. I didn't know the laws or the systems. I just knew I wasn't willing to stop asking questions until he received what he needed. Along the way, I found myself learning to navigate systems, not only for my children, but for myself as well. Living with a physical disability has taught me just how overwhelming systems can be. Losing my mom when I was 17 meant that there wasn't someone I could call to help me figure it all out. Like so many families, I learned by asking questions, making mistakes, and continuing to show up. Over the years, I realized that advocacy isn't about having all the answers. It's about continuing to ask questions, staying curious, and refusing to give up when something isn't working for yourself, your child, or your family. My formal advocacy journey began when I joined my local Head Start Policy Council and ended up serving as co-chair. Later, I joined the Washington State Association of Head Start and ECAP Parent Ambassador Program, where I began learning how to process my experiences, tell my story, and recognize that my lived experience has value. When I applied for PI, I knew I wanted to continue growing as a parent leader and deepen my understanding of the early intervention system that has impacted so many members of my family. What I didn't know was how much this experience would shape me personally and professionally. Being selected for PI was truly an honor, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to learn alongside other parents and continue to grow as a leader. PI has given me so much more than I expected. Yes, I've gained knowledge and skills, but more importantly, it has strengthened my confidence and expanded my perspective. I've become a better storyteller and a better speaker. I've learned how to create an arc in my stories that not only shares information, but helps others feel seen, heard, and connected. I've learned to stay curious, to ask questions, and to speak up even when I don't have all the answers. It has also challenged me to think more deeply about racial equity, whose voices are represented in our systems, and what authentic partnerships with families can and should look like. But perhaps most importantly, it's given me relationships that I'll carry with me long after the program ends. I've had the privilege of watching parents in my cohort light up when they talk about their children and their advocacy journeys. I've learned alongside some truly remarkable parents and leaders who continue to inspire me every time we come together. One of my greatest joys in this work is watching other people recognize their strengths and step into leadership. There's something really special about watching someone realize that their story matters and that they belong in spaces where decisions are made. Vanessa, Jeremy, Heather, Michelle, and my fellow cohort members have helped create something really special through Pi. They've created a space where parents can show up exactly as they are. Life is full and complicated, especially for families navigating additional supports and services, and I've always felt encouraged to simply show up as the best version of myself in that moment. I'm incredibly grateful for the relationships, support, and sense of community that have come from this experience. One of the greatest gifts of saying yes to Pi has been the opportunities that have followed. Since joining Pi, I've had the privilege of participating in the SICC Public Policy and Finance Committee and the Personnel and Training Committee, attending the majority of SICC meetings and contributing to several ESIT work groups. I've also participated in Washington State's Systemic Improvement Plan and annual performance report activities, which have helped me better understand how systems are evaluated and improved to better serve children and families. I also had the opportunity through Pi to participate on the ESIT content design team, where I reviewed and provided feedback on training modules used by early intervention professionals as part of their certification and professional development. It was incredibly meaningful to bring a parent perspective to trainings that will ultimately impact the families professionals serve every day. Moving forward, I hope to continue helping families discover their strengths, recognize the value of their lived experience, and step into leadership in whatever way that feels meaningful to them. Whether that's mentoring parent leaders, helping organizations build meaningful family partnerships, presenting at conferences, or simply sitting alongside another parent who doesn't yet know they belong at the table. This work matters deeply to me. This fall, I will have the incredible honor of presenting 2 sessions at an international conference focused on early childhood special education and early intervention. I'll be speaking about reducing family isolation, building parent confidence and advocacy skills, and moving from family engagement to authentic partnership and shared decision making with families. And if I'm being honest, if it weren't for Pi, I may not have even submitted those proposals in the first place. If Pi has taught me anything, it's that you never know where saying yes to an opportunity will take you. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that lived experience is expertise. Families don't need to have permission to share what they know. They are experts in their children, their experiences, and the systems they navigate every single day. For future Pi participants, I want you to know this. You are enough. You were selected because people saw something in you. They saw leadership, passion, and potential that you may not even fully recognize in yourself yet. Show up as your authentic self. Keep an open mind. Build relationships. Ask questions. Engage with your cohort in the trainings. Share as much or as little of your story as feels right for you. This work can be vulnerable, and your story belongs to you. Give yourself grace. Parenting is hard. Parenting children who need additional supports can be incredibly hard. Everyone in this program understands that. The connections you build through Pi may become so much more than you can imagine. They may become friendships, opportunities, mentorships, and communities that continue long after the program ends. Most importantly, I hope you remember that leadership doesn't have to look a certain way. You don't need a title to make a difference. You don't need to know everything before you begin. And you certainly don't need to become someone else to be a leader. You already belong here. There's room for your story, your experiences, and your voice. The things that have challenged you are often the very things that prepare you to lead, advocate, and support others. Thank you, Pi, for helping me grow not only as an advocate and a leader, but as a parent who's even more committed to ensuring that families know they are seen, valued, and belong exactly where they are. It has truly been an honor.
Today we recognize each graduate for their commitment they have shown throughout this past year. The Parent Institute for Engagement awards 2 types of certificates based on each participant's level of engagement throughout the program. A certificate of participation recognizes those who actively participated in Pi sessions and learning opportunities. A certificate of completion recognizes participants who demonstrate consistent engagement, completed program expectations, and actively participated in additional leadership opportunities throughout the year. No matter which certificate is received today, each member of Cohort 8 has contributed something meaningful to this program, and every voice has helped strengthen our community. Graduation from Pi isn't the end of the journey. It is the beginning of new opportunities to lead. Each graduate receives a personal letter of congratulations along with the invitation to explore future leadership through the Washington State Special Education Advisory Council, SEAC. SEAC plays an important role in advising on statewide special education policies, and parent voice remains one of its greatest strengths. We hope today's graduates continue to build on everything they have learned in PI by serving on councils, committees, advisory groups, and leadership opportunities that help improve systems for children and families across Washington. As we close today's celebration, I'd like to leave our graduates with one final thought. A year ago, many of you joined PI hoping to learn more about advocacy. Today, you leave as leaders. You have challenged yourself, supported one another, shared your stories, and remind us why family voice is essential to improving early intervention. The relationships you've built, the knowledge that you have gained, and the confidence you have developed won't end today. They will continue to shape your communities, influence systems, and inspire other families for years to come. On behalf of ESIT, State ICC, our presenters, mentors, and everyone who has been part of this journey, thank you for trusting us to walk alongside of you. Congratulations, Cohort 8. Your voice matters, your experience matters, your leadership matters. The future of early intervention is stronger because of you.